And I think, that data sharing means speed. We're doing some fascinating things on the insight side where, if I'm not a data analyst, by the way, right? not even super close, but it's one of those things like I stayed at a Holiday Inn last night, right? And so like I all of a sudden I'm an expert, but it feels that way sometimes in our platform where you can query what type of insights should I be gleaning from this dashboard, and it'll tell you. It'll just come back with a response, right? So I think there's these things where the time scales are all shortening. So
Mm-hmm.
if I used to have a platform that would derive insights, and I'd have to go to a data analytics team or a data analysis team, and they would come back to me and try and talk to me in normal speak and explain to me what to action. Now we're seeing that happen literally in real time at any time without necessarily needing to be that expert. So I think those are the things that are going to be very interesting to watch as well, where you can be more empowered to move faster. If I
Mm-hmm.
have the ability to distill petabytes of data instantaneously on my organization, that might come up with a new product idea that we can start to build tomorrow. Like that used to take years. Now we can have that dialogue daily if wanted, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well said. I mean, that's really the whole genesis of our Activate CX services program. So, I mean, our podcast is Activate CX, but we actually have a framework which is about how do you get from point A to point B. And my initial, drive into this world was through Deloitte, and then out of that primordial swamp, I was thrust into a lot of change mechanics, merger acquisitions, company turnarounds, company dissolutions, I mean, huge business transformation. My sense is we're sitting more globally on the cusp of that. We're looking at this as being this big, huge technological change, but it's more than that.
Yeah, I totally agree, and I think that maybe that becomes the new pursuit, right? Is like how can we unsilo your organization the fastest? And
Yes.
if you can do that at scale, and these companies again that we work with are at just crazy scale. You
Yes.
talk about the number of countries they operate in, or the SKUs that they do, or if they're in banking or finance, the number of generations that they touch in terms of their customers, right? These being able to move more adeptly as an overall organization to service those customers and realize that it's not inside the contact center anymore.
Yes.
I think is really going to be key. Um, yeah, and you mentioned CMO, CRO, CIO, but there's also heads of product, right,
Hmm.
and product
True.
innovation and development. And I think there's no question we've seen it, but there's no question in my mind that not only can you stop negative products from driving a customer service issue for you, whether it's a flickering screen on the laptop that you can identify and quantify how big an issue this might be for you, but also that people are constantly suggesting to you how to make your product better, and they're telling the quote unquote historically wrong people. They've been, barking at a customer service agent who's just trying to give them the right answer, and there's all these great ideas that your customers are providing to you. And so I think CMO, yes. CRO, yes. Heads of product and competitive intel, I think, are also just massive, recipients of this insight. Should you break down the silos of your orgs and share this insight and data?
It's a great point. I love that you made that one. I missed that one on my roll going through the C-level suite, and you hit it
Yeah.
right on the great pickup.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, we're probably missing two others that we haven't thought of. Like, there's probably some, warehousing person that would love to understand that the packaging, doesn't need to be so big for
we
the box.
apologize in
So
advance.
there's some.